Okay, so I have bugs all over me. In the boat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 rods that I do consider Squarebill. They're in my way. Squarebill rods. These are Squarebill cranking rods, okay? They're not the end all of that situation. These are not the best rods that you can get for cranking. Now, here's the thing. When I spend money on a fishing rod, if I want sensitivity, if I want to feel the bite, it's not with a cranking rod. And that's what costs money. So, kind of what makes a rod expensive is the number of guides, the sensitivity, the actual quality of the whatever it's made from, whether it be, you know, glass or carbon fiber, whatever. So realistically, you don't have to spend a lot of money on a Squarebill rod. So let me go ahead and start off with something that's kind of old and new, meaning they redid them. And that's the Bass Pro Shops cranking stick. Okay, I have an older version here. I have an older version, and this is really a good rod. This one happens to be, I don't have my glasses on. It's a medium heavy 7-foot, so this is actually a little bit heavier of a rod, but it still has that moderate action. It bends down almost all the way halfway through the rod. I did actually have this rod and used it for deep cranking for the beginning of my deep cranking fishing, but realistically I have used this for everything from Squarebills to a spinnerbait, but mostly for Squarebill fishing and rattle traps, lipless crankbaits, whatever. So this is a really nice rod, but they do make this rod now in a different, it's gray and black. It's a rod that Ott Defoe actually used when he was throwing his lipless crankbaits on the Tennessee River, or wasn't the Tennessee River? Anyway, to win the Classic. This is a totally different rod than that one, but they are very similar. The newer ones, the gray and red ones, are very, very nice. That rod is a really good option for cranking because it comes in everything from 6-foot light or medium light to 7/6 medium heavy cranking rods. Okay, they just have the action properly attuned to crankbaits, treble hook baits. They're really, really nice rods, and I think they're like $79 or $89 tops. So really, really good option for a crankbait rod. This is probably the most expensive cranking rod I have, and this is a Duckett Ghost. It's upside down. You can see where it says Duckett Ghost there. Obviously I have a little 1.5 on here. So this is a Duckett Ghost. I believe it is a medium. Yeah. The action of this rod is not listed on here. It's moderate. Yeah. I'm sure that it's designated in the number or something like that, but it just says power medium cranking. Medium cranking. It's a 7-foot medium. This is a really, really good rod for Squarebills. This is a fantastic rod for Squarebills. I can't remember exactly how much it costs. $99, $100, something like that. $119, I don't know. Really, really nice rod for throwing Squarebill crankbaits. So that 7-foot medium is pretty much the #1 rod. But this is the most expensive rod that I own for Squarebills. And I'm going to get that out of the way. Let's see, we got these two out of the way. Those two were probably the most expensive. This one actually would have been rather expensive. I got this for like incredibly great steal, but I will say that it could have been expensive at the time. This is the Skeet Reese Squarebill, yeah, Squarebill cranking rod, right? So this is relatively expensive, but I got it for under $30, under $40. I can't remember. I think it was a clearance or something like that. So I could not pass this up. But this is a really, really nice rod. I caught a 25-pound carp on this thing with a crankbait, and it ate it in the mouth. I could try and throw a picture up here of that carp. Really, really nice. Really, really nice carp. So let me go ahead and move on past the quote-unquote expensive, because these aren't even really that expensive. I mean, you can spend, you know, $300-400 on a Squarebill rod if you want to. I highly suggest you don't do that. Now, these three are the rods that I used for most of my Squarebill cranking for years and years. And I had similar rods to these before that. I bought this at a Dick's Sporting Goods a long time ago. It's the Octane. This was a combo, and this reel was I think it was like a 5:6 to 1 or something like that gear ratio. The reel that came with it was great for squarebilling. This is a 6-foot 6-inch medium heavy, which makes me laugh because it's not medium heavy. And it doesn't say, yeah, it just says medium heavy. This rod is, well, if they want to call it medium heavy, that's fine, but it's a moderate bend to it. I was thinking it's medium. I don't think this is medium heavy, but I have caught some really big fish on this 6.5-foot medium action cranking rod. I would say, if they say medium heavy, I'll go with that, whatever. But I always thought that it was medium, to be honest with you, until I just read it. So this rod is so accurate because it's shorter, and I catch so many fish on this thing because I'm used to it and I've used it for so long. It's comfortable in my hand. I just got really comfortable with it. I went to go buy them again the next year, and they were gone. They had this instead, and it had like a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio reel with it. This is not the reel that came with it. But let's see what this says here. Yeah, it says medium heavy. Okay, I'll take their word for it. So 6.5-foot medium or medium heavy. Again, the action of this, you can see where it bends there. It's pretty far down into that rod, and my hand's not even on the tip there. It bends down into that rod. This gives such a good bend and a good spring when you catch a fish, when you hook a fish, that it's so easy to catch them with this. And I'm pretty sure this is pretty much the same rod as this older version, just a different color. And again, the reels that came with them were junk, but they were $60 combos at the time. A rod and reel for $60, to me, that means one of those is 30, right? I would say the reel is probably more expensive, so the reel is probably 40, and then this is a $20 rod, so this is a cheap rod. Where are you going? Sorry about that. I don't know if you can hear me now, but I'm gonna go ahead. Next I have this Berkeley amp. I actually had two of these. One of them did break. They are not great rods. They were $29.99 at the time. $29.99 for this rod. 6.6 medium casting. So yes, this is a 6.5-foot medium, and it works great. Hopefully you heard all that. 6.5-foot medium amp works great. I still use this one every once in a while. It's $29 rod, and you know, as you can see, That's that bend. It's like way down into here. So these medium, 6.5 foot medium casting rods that are moderate in action are absolutely perfect for a squarebill crankbait. Shallow water squarebilling, accurate casting, that's exactly what you want. And you do not need something that is expensive. I have one, I think it's actually in the basement. A 13 fishing, I want to say it's an Omen Black. Defy Black. Omen Black's very expensive. Defy Black, I think they're $59, or at least it was when I bought it. It could be $79 now. Those are some really, really nice rods. I got one. I thought it was too heavy for cranking. It's not. I almost sent it back, or I almost gave it to somebody else. That's a rod that I use all the time, especially as a co-angler, because it's kind of a universal rod. I can throw a squarebill, I can throw a deep diving crankbait, I can throw a spinnerbait on that rod. It's a really, really nice rod. But for squarebill specifically, anything over 6.5 feet, you're going to have a little bit of problem being really, really accurate. And when I squarebill, I'm throwing those things in some tight places, like in between bushes and rocks and stuff. So I really like that 6.5 foot rod. I hope that this video is helping you guys understand how I at least fish for fish with squarebills, and that you don't need to spend a lot of money on a squarebill rod. If you want to throw squarebill crankbaits, they're expensive enough, and you're probably going to lose a lot of them when you first start out. So get a cheap rod. The reel doesn't have to be that expensive either. This is let's go with, this is a Pinnacle. This is a really old Pinnacle Matrix, I think it's called, the Pinnacle Matrix. They don't make it anymore, but I think I paid like $30 for it. This is an Abu Garcia. I think it's basically a Silver Max. It's the Jordan Lee Silver Max or whatever. I got this because somebody broke the rod that this was a combo with, so I ended up buying the reel less expensive. But it's a really nice reel. Nothing wrong with it. Cast King. This is the 5-3-1. This is a really nice reel. I've been using it for about 3.5 years now, maybe 4 years. I like this reel a lot. I've never had any problems with it. This is an older Ora winch that they don't make anymore. Actually, it's not the Ora, it's just the, no, it is, it's an Ora winch. They don't make this anymore, but it was $79 at the time, and I think that is what I paid for it. And then this is the 13 Fishing Origin. It is, I want to say this is a $79 reel. Maybe it was $99, I can't remember. But none of these reels are super expensive. You can get a $50 to $99 reel and crank with them. There's nothing wrong with that. Now the only difference is if you want to crank, if you're going far casting and just cranking down some rocks, you can absolutely do that. You need a really good reel to cast as far as you can. You probably want to get something a little bit better than this, but for the most part, I don't cast more than I don't know, 30 yards at the most. That's like the most, and I can cast 30 yards with any of these reels, so I don't have a problem with that for squarebilling. So if you guys have any questions about squarebill fishing or the rods and reels that I showed you here, or want me to review other rods and reels that I have for other things, jigs or whatever, leave a comment in the bottom. My favorite thing to do is throwing a squarebill, and I really think that you guys, if you are just getting into fishing, I don't care how old you are, throwing a squarebill is something you can do from the bank. It's something you can do wading. It's something you can do from the back of somebody's john boat. It's something you can do from a kayak. You can do it obviously from a bass boat. So and everyone, I mean, how many tournaments have been won on a squarebill crankbait? Ask Kevin Van Dam, because he's won a lot of them. Ask Rick Clun. He's won a lot of them on a Squarebill. Ask, gosh, a lot of people have won tournaments on a Squarebill crankbait. So it's a great, great resource to catch fish with. So get you a cheap rod and reel that's medium action and go throw some Squarebills, guys, all year long. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you later.